James Toby McGann was born in 1946 to Toby McGann and Margaret Hubble. He had been baptised soon after. If asked, he would have to say that he had a normal childhood, going through the ignorance of childhood, the ignorance and arrogance of his teenage years, and the ignorance of being a young adult. At 25, he moved on from his general odd jobs and got a minor role in a publishing company. He married his wife, Diana McGann, in 1975. They had 3 children, Michael in 1975, Stanley 1979, and Grace in 1980. All his children got married, and Michael had twins, and Stanley a daughter, and Grace had a daughter as well. Most of them were beginning their own lives now. James, having had a fairly comfortable life, went into a fairly comfortable retirement in 2015. Everything was working out well for James until 2017. Diana had suddenly died. James knew he would never love again. Not like that. Tonight, he had just visited her grave, which was close to their old house. He was driving back to the apartment that he'd bought after her death. The trip was long, and his eyes were getting heavy. James saw a sign for a rest stop and turned down the path lined with trees. He called his neighbour to tell him that he would have to look after Rufus a little while longer than expected, and set a timer on his phone for half an hour. A little less than half an hour, the red truck was on the road again. The clouds moved in, the dark clouds of a storm. Indeed, there were already spots of water forming on the windshield, and lines of white falling in the headlights. The truck went onward, curving past the familiar routes that it had known for the past few years. The radio was turned on, playing some nostalgic music from James's childhood. Oh, the shark has... A hand adjusted the rearview mirror. Pretty teeth, dear. The rain really started going, hammering in the night. And he shows them, pearly white. The radio changed to the news. The truck went on for a bit with some information about the local disaster. No estimate on how many dead. Before the radio was turned off entirely. A hand searched the pockets and found a lighter and a box of cigarettes. There was a flick, and the truck filled with the smell of tobacco smoke. The sound faded, giving way to only the hammering of the rain. The truck finally stopped at James McGann's apartment building. The door opened and closed, and the truck remained dormant. If this was a normal night, it would remain until morning. This was no normal night. A few minutes passed, and then the door opened and closed, and the truck went off into the night and the rain. The truck had stopped at daylight. A dusty hotel's parking lot had become its home for the time being. A greeting was given at the desk. A key was handed off. A room was opened. Where are you from? Just a couple hours north. Ah, I see. Where are you headed? South, obviously. A laugh was given. This was obviously something that had happened before. No other questions would be given. Business was business, and his life was not part of that. Well, if you have any problems, just come to me. Will do. A hand went to a light switch, and the room barely lit up. A simple schedule was made. Brushing his teeth, taking a shower, and going to bed. He completed his schedule. He went to bed but couldn't sleep. The sounds of the cars on the road kept him up. The thundering noise, the flashes of light, the storm of the road. When he could see light coming in, he got up. The truck started. Fairfield. He'd make it out to Fairfield. He'd leave the truck in a parking lot and take a bus to Fairfield. Fairfield was a long drive, but he couldn't become tired. He wouldn't. But eyes became unfocused. Or was it the road? Yes, it was the road. The road was playing tricks. The road warped in and out and started to fade entirely. Stay focused on Fairfield. On the moving road, he saw his companion. Congratulations. That's what was held in that smile. His phone rang. The road returned flat. He picked up the phone. He responded with, yes. The body of James Toby McGann was discovered in the morning by a family returning from their vacation. The body was found on the ground at the rest stop. A moment of shock stuck on the pale face. Its eyes glazed over. Blood covered the concrete in a way only exaggeration can describe. The truck stopped at a gas station. The driver filled the truck with gas. A thought went through his head and back. Why did they say that on the phone? Why? It was obvious. Did you do it? That was the question. Of course he did. He had to.